Hi, good morning, everybody. It's Dave Matthews here on Darkcity Radio. 2 a.m. We're live on the 14th of June, and we're lucky enough to have Dean Clifford as a special guest this morning. It's 8 o'clock over there in Canada. If anybody'd like to call in to the show or participate, you can call in on Bob's Backyard as usual. You can put your hand up in the text box, etc. So what we're going to talk about tonight is divestment, way to sort of, build something better, because even though we have inherent rights, etc., etc., the court systems, the police, they still continue to railroad over us all the time. They break their own rules. In Canada, I'm sure people have heard the recordings. They just, even if you tell them what the law is, they just ignore it and steal your property, etc., etc. But so I guess we've got to try and create something better for ourselves, and I'm hoping that we can get a few tips, for what we can do over in the UK. They're doing, Dean's been doing all sorts of great things with property and the way he buys property, etc., etc. So without further ado, we'll introduce Dean Clifford. Dean, how you doing?
Very good tonight. I'm actually surprised you're still awake. It's getting a little late on your side of the pond over there.
Oh yeah, it's 2 a.m. I had an hour's sleep. I finished the show I did earlier on at 10 o'clock, so I've had an hour's sleep, get up, and here we are again. But,
nice. Hey, there's no sleep for people trying to change the world, eh?
Well, exactly. I work as well, so.
There's people trying to make this world a worse place 24 hours a day, so people like us need to be around to try to make it a better place 24 hours a day if we're going to get anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I got a business as well, and we're busy. We drove 7 hours yesterday to help somebody up in Manchester. It turns out we helped 2 people, and it felt good, and I think that if there was more people, it seems to be gathering pace. It seems, seems to be.
I got your email about that, and I kind of want to hear more about that.
Yeah, about yesterday. Yeah, it's very interesting to, see the different ways that the different courts over the country work. Like down here, the council tax courts are all closed, and up there, they were open courts. Up there, you can take notes if you're just in the public gallery, etc. But the guy we went in with, he didn't really have much of an idea of what he was doing, and but what sort of ensued, the magistrates refused to identify themselves. They refused to indicate whether they were working for the council. Therefore, there was a conflict of interest. Well, so myself and Paul from the radio show ended up getting ejected from the courtroom because we were, voicing our opinions probably a bit too loudly. And but as it turned out, we were talking to a girl in the waiting room there. She was, frightened to death. She was there for council tax, and she was frightened. She was slightly angry. We got talking to her, and the whole waiting room, the vibe of the whole waiting room changed when we started talking to people, and people suddenly weren't so scared to go in, and this girl went in, and she absolutely fought like a dog, really stood up for herself and
awesome.
Absolutely owned them, and she came out, she won, she actually won just by speaking from the heart, which was a great thing. And another guy, they tried to do him. He'd been treating himself with medical hemp, the Rick Simpson hemp oil. Got himself off all sorts of pharmaceutical drugs. He'd had a very, very bad personal time, and he really made progress. And the guy's really doing well. And he basically, he'd been speaking from the heart. He'd been going into court and saying, "Well, I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't hurt anybody. I don't. What have I done?" And just indirectly, just those few things, by saying I haven't hurt anybody, who have I hurt, stuff like that, it ended up that he was doing a good thing just by speaking from the heart. And I gave him a list of questions for him to get his solicitor, who he'd already employed before we, got to speak to him, to ask. And it was very endearing, because even his solicitor read the list of questions. And she said to him, "Look, I can't ask these questions, but I strongly suggest you do." And she actually left him to it. And guess what? He walked out of there. So it's all good stuff, you know?
Yep. How many times have we been trying to tell people your lawyer cannot help you? Your lawyer cannot ask questions that will help you. Your lawyer cannot say anything that will help you. Your lawyer cannot suggest anything to you that will help you, because the whole point of the Bar Association and the Law Society is to pervert the course of justice and deny you your rights. That's the entire point. That's the whole mandate of that organization. That's what it exists for.
Exactly that. And I did say, when I wrote the list of questions out for him, I said to him, I guarantee you she will not ask the questions for you. But it was I've never seen that where they've turned around and said, look, I can't do that. I can't ask these questions, but you can. It's just awesome to see, you know? And like I say, we ended up, I mean, they come unglued in there if you even wear a hat. They're like really, really on edge. And they had an undercover policeman in there, like, you know, to eject myself and Paul. But we just had a blast. We had a great day. You know, we drove 7 hours from where we were, and it was just good fun. And that's what people have got to do. People have got to have fun with it. You know,
that's exactly what people have to do, and be there to support people as well. Like that wouldn't have happened if you guys hadn't gone out there.
No, definitely not. And we, you know, everything's on record as well. There was 6. I think there was 6 of us in total who were witnesses. So, you know, they were refusing to identify themselves. But I guess, you know, it's got to come to a point, Dean, where we're going to have to stop trying to fight, and just create, like you keep saying, a better party. You know, let's create something better. We're all just people. You know, we're all just on this planet, and we're lucky to be on this planet. And we shouldn't waste too much of our energy on this sort of corrupt system, if you like. I don't know I know you're trying to set something up with divestment and one thing and another. And just, if you want to talk a bit about that, then be my guest.
Well, it was just kind of, actually, it started just a post I made on Facebook one day there a couple of months back, or I'm not even sure how long ago now. Everything's so blurred together. But I've been talking about things like this for a few years now. We'd make fun of all the riots and the Occupy Wall Street movements that are going on around North America and around the world right now, and all these people that are out protesting. And we were watching a video the one day, and I'm making fun of these idiots that are out there protesting Wall Street, because obviously that's going to do something. And I'm laughing. I'm like, well, these people support the very corporations that they're to protest against. The reason these corporations and Wall Street are making so much money is these people actually are customers of these organizations. And then I said, I wonder how many of these idiots stopped by and bought a large latte from Starbucks on their way to the protest. And within 30 seconds of me saying that, here walks one of the protesters right by the camera with his Starbucks latte.
Yeah.
And I'm now I'm killing myself laughing because now we got what was I going to say? So this guy that's out protesting corporate profits and corporate greed just paid $5.50 for a latte at Starbucks on his way to the protest to protest this kind of stuff. So
it makes no sense.
Hang on one moment here. Sorry, I'll be right back.
That's okay. Yeah, we're just pausing for a second while Dean goes and deals with what he's got to deal with. But he's literally just got in from his work as well. So, you know, I know Barry's on the line. Hopefully we can pull you in, Barry, and you can have a quick word and whatever. I'll introduce you.
Yeah, I'm all ears. I'm learning right now.
Ah, cool. So have you looked at the Canadian Charter yet, Barry?
Yeah, my son actually has been breaking it down, and I was looking at a feed called the Servant King that really breaks it down and makes it a little bit more easy for me to understand. But it's still it's confusing for me, Dave. It really is, because it's going against everything, of course, that I've ever been taught. But I'm all ears, buddy. I don't know enough about the subject to make any educated comments on it, but I'm really interested, and I enjoy listening to Dean talk, and thanks for having me in.
I'm glad you. I'm always glad to see you, Barry, anyway.
Well, I'd love to say hello to Dean, and you know, he's on one page doing something that we're all kind of doing the same way, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but I'm listening, right, bro? Thanks for having me in.
No bother. With the parrot, I hear.
Yeah. I go put him away. It's just a little background noise. It's like part of the scenario here in BC.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah, he sounds like a very energetic fellow. Really high energy.
Oh, he is. We're just lucky. We're lucky. I think he's right at the front of everything that's going on at the moment. And I think it's an important message to get across to people to stop giving the system so much energy. Like we're energizing it. Hey, Dean. Yeah,
that was really weird. I actually live like out in the country, in the middle of nowhere, and I just had a complete stranger like walk right into my house while I was on the radio.
Whoa.
Hello. Hey, I'm pleased to meet you.
It. Yeah, that's. Oh, hi.
that was Barry. Sorry, Dean. But yeah, go on.
So I was kind of like, what the fuck? Okay, so anyways. Yeah, that was okay. That kind of weirded me out a little bit. Anyways, let's get back on that. I can't remember where we were now.
Yeah, you were just saying about the Starbucks, giving the system energy, or the protesting against the big corporations whilst buying a $5 latte.
But they're funding it. I mean, how many of those people were probably going and getting fast food, lunches or dinners at like McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King or A&W or any of these other places while they're out there protesting all these corporate profits, right?
Yeah.
So it's just what they're doing is so antithetical. It's so not having any kind of force or effect whatsoever. It's useless. What they're doing is actually useless, completely useless. It's a waste of energy. People live there for like a couple of months on end, and it does nothing. Like all that energy and time and money wasted when it could have gone to something that would actually help this situation. And that's why we're trying to tell people, like, the whole problem is these corporations and their profit margins. Stop funding them. Stop purchasing. Stop going to McDonald's. Stop going to Walmart. Stop buying stuff you don't need. The crap that you desire but you don't need. Stop doing all this. If you don't want these corporations to profit because they're harming the planet, stop funding them outright. Like just a boycott. And no sooner had I not really kind of gone really public with that, I was trying to hammer that whole idea home there a couple of months back, where I was telling people, even locally, when all these Monsanto protests erupted all over the place in North America especially, and I'm laughing. They're protesting Monsanto. They want the government to pass a law against Monsanto making money, I guess, maybe. I have no idea, which is ludicrous. Like, why not pass a law against me making money while you're at it? That's an idiotic thing to do, and I agree. They're harming the planet. They're doing all sorts of evil things. But how many of those people are eating GMO foods?
Yeah, quite.
That's all they're selling at restaurants and Wendy's and grocery stores and everything. Almost everything is all GMO. All these people that go to the grocery store and they load up on boxed cereals and all these other things that come in a box where the box has more nutritional value than the product that's in it. It's all GMO. They're buying it, but they're protesting against it at the same time. And I said, well, no, why wouldn't you have to literally become conscious? Like, they spent days walking and protesting. Why don't you spend days going through making a list of stuff you normally buy and finding out what's GMO and what's not, and then boycotting it outright and find different food sources and shopping with your dollar and being smart about it. And no sooner hadn't I said that, the headlines the next day were in the newspapers there that Monsanto was not lobbying in Europe anymore because there's no interest for their products.
Yeah, and that's what people need to do. Like you say, exactly that. Don't protest by shouting and screaming at people while still buying the product. Protest by not buying the product anymore and buying a true product, like an organic product. This crazy. It is absolutely crazy, but people are just not getting it. People are, over in the UK. I don't know if you've seen like some of the posts I've put on the Facebook. Like there was a lady, Stephanie Bottrell. Like she threw herself out in front of a lorry, Dean, because the local council harassed her to the point where she just literally. She wrote a suicide note and threw herself right under a lorry because of what the government had done to her. They had harassed her to that point. We're being persecuted. So if we're being persecuted and we're not happy with the people who are there to do the will of the people, then leave. You wouldn't stay with your partner if they kept breaking promises, telling lies, stealing all your money. So why would you want to stay in a system? Create something better. Go and get a better partner. Crazy.
Self-determine. That's exactly why we have the right to self-determination. We can leave anytime if we're not happy with the organization that we're presently involved with. We can just leave and go do our own thing. And again, how many of these people that are out protesting Monsanto because they want quality food, how many of them planted a garden?
I bet very few of them.
Very few. So instead of just becoming the solution themselves and starting to grow a garden maybe on their property, they want to go and they want to bitch and complain and try to force somebody else to do it for them.
Yeah, quite right.
And that's just a complete wrong mentality, right? I don't like what Monsanto is doing. I don't like the food that people are providing me with. So instead of just going and securing my own source of food, whether I grow it myself or go find a farmer who's willing to sell to me or doing something, I'm just going to go and bitch and complain to the world and try to force everybody else to fix my problem.
Yeah, which is futile.
And that's the antithesis to what self-determination is and what the whole freedom movement is all about, because we're all about assuming liability for our actions. Yeah. If something is wrong, if something isn't the way that we want it to be, or the planet's going down the shitter, we have nobody to blame but ourselves. We don't blame other people. We assume all liability ourselves, and that means that then we're the ones that have to fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
So and the great part is that apparently that makes us terrorists.
Oh yeah, we're definitely terrorists. Yeah.
For wanting to fix the planet and assume liability for our actions, we're apparently terrorists now. So, crazy. Which I guess, considering it's a nanny state that really needs us to be reliant on them, maybe that is considered terrorism from their point of view, because we're stripping them of power because they want to babysit us and run our lives. That terrorizes them, I guess, maybe because they're not going to be able to make as much money off us and control us and tell us what to do.
Right, and the energy, the energy they take from us on a daily basis. You know, for the most part, you speak to people and they're like, "Well, I don't care. What can I do? What can I do?" Well, you can do something. People can do something. People have the power. They just can't get it into their nuts over here. They have the power. People are, you know, if you're happy to just sit in your little bubble and bitch and whinge about everything bad that's going on, then you're part of the problem. If you're not actually doing something about it, you are part of the problem.
You know what? Let's pretend we couldn't do anything about property taxes short term. We can't do anything about income taxes. We can't do anything about property taxes. We can't do anything about car insurance. They're just going to beat us and force us to do this no matter what completely contrary to our rights. There's one thing they can't do. They can't come into our homes and put a gun to our head and force us to shop at Walmart. Or force us to buy cheap trinkets from China. They can't force us to buy certain types of food. So that ultimately is one of the most powerful things we have is even whatever money we are left with at the end of the day after they steal half of it. For now, temporarily, the one thing we can do is choose not to spend the rest of it on anything. Not buy cigarettes, not buy beer, because it's so heavily taxed it funds their system. Stop buying anything out of a box in the grocery store. When you start buying fruits and vegetables, there's no tax on those. There's no sales taxes on those, especially here in North America. There's no sales taxes on them because they're necessities.
Yeah.
And you're not giving money to these big corporations. Well, you still are, but at least you're starting to curb what you're spending your money on, which seriously starts to affect their profit margin. And if corporations are driven by profit margins, that's what's going to make them stop doing what they're going to do, or they'll go bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. And I use that sort of thing when I was talking about, you know, people want to try the thing with the driving and you know, with no insurance and this and that and the other. And I say to people, if you're going to have a go at this, don't go out and buy a £20,000 BMW or a £25,000 Audi and then cry your eyes out when somebody takes it off you. Like, the way I do it, I buy a car which is like 150, 200 quid, which runs on diesel. And I'll go out and I'll buy agricultural diesel. I'll use agricultural diesel. But I'll send them a notice of that. That's what I'm going to do. Well, am I going to worry if I've driven around for 6 months using agricultural diesel?
I probably wouldn't. Hello. Did we lose Dave, or am I off?
No. Did we lose Dave? You are still on the air.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'll just continue going until Dave gets back.
And I think Barry is here too. Oh,
excellent. Well, Barry's welcome to speak anytime he wants to then as well. So I think that's one of the main things that Dave wanted to talk about tonight is that all things considered, let's just say that all the rest of these issues we just can't We can't make these things go away. They're just for the average person is too scared to fight against the government, too scared to make the income tax fight, too scared to fight council taxes or property taxes because they're worried about going to jail. They're worried about being charged or anything else. The least amount of effort you could possibly do in this movement is to start voting with your dollar and spending as little as you can or nothing, preferably, in that system to fund it anymore.
Yeah.
Take out what little. So if they're going to take everything we have, but just a little bit of money that we then run and go buy cigarettes and beer with, stop doing that. Just stop it, because you're basically doing business with your rapist now because he's the only guy on the block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
right?
I missed a bit of that. I dropped the call dropped out, but yeah, I get the gist of what you're saying on the back end of that.
That's the least. That's why I've got like a 3-prong approach going now, and divestment is one of them. Because I figure that these are stages. Divestment is the first tier that everybody can do. You don't even need to be in the law movement to realize that things are messed up, and maybe just by not spending your money anymore at all, then you're gonna defund that system. They're not going to be able to hire their armed thugs anymore. You're going to seriously affect their profit margins, and that's what harms them. So, and that's the least confrontational thing somebody can do is not spend their money. They can't force you to spend your money, so stop it.
Quite right, quite right for that.
You don't like the food supply? Plant a garden, or go find a farmer who's willing to sell you produce and chickens and other kind of farm goods for cash.
And you can find that you can go wherever over in the UK, they are there. The farmers are there. You can buy local produce. You can buy local meat. You don't have to shop in these places. You don't have to. They would rather sell to you because they get more money if they sell direct to you than if they have to sell discount in bulk to a grocery store that then gets sold to the same people anyways. They would rather sell to you. Yeah, exactly. I think Barry just wants to just come in for a second, Dean, if that's okay with you. Barry is he's over in BC, and he's a brilliant guy. I've just introduced him to your stuff. So if you, Barry, would you like to speak?
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Dean?
Very good to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, brother. I just started looking at your stuff here in the last couple of weeks, and still new at it, and I'm starting to understand it a bit, and take my hat off to anybody that's bucking the government, man. We all hate the government just as much as everybody else, and they sure stick it up our ass every time they get a chance. So I'm learning off some of your videos and your presentations there, brother, but I don't know enough yet to really offer educated comments on that part of it, but I'm with you on a lot of things you're saying, my friend.
Well, and that's the great part about with this new three-tiered approach is that even beginners, even though they haven't gotten to a stage where they're ready to start enforcing their rights yet, those people can start altering their shopping habits immediately.
I am, brother. I am.
Yep. And one of the first things I always tell people, and I was on Angela Stark there one night a little while back, and one of the first comments I made on the show, and I get a little belligerent sometimes depending on what mood I'm in that day, and I started off by saying, now, all you people that are on the call tonight that haven't canceled your cable or your satellite package yet, I want you to shut off the radio and stop listening, because there's no point in me even speaking to you people. Because you're spending $100-something a month on a cable and satellite package to be brainwashed. Contrary to everything I'm trying to teach you people, it's just brainwashing you to think completely the opposite way of what we're trying to help you with. Not only that, you're throwing away $100 or $150 a month to fund these multinational corporations that are feeding you mind garbage. And that's just as bad as buying plastic trinkets from China that are basically packaged to go straight into the landfill.
It makes you wonder, really, if people really knew what these corporations were up to and how destructive they are being to our planet, Dean, how much business would stop at Walmart and how many people would stop supporting these corporations. But a lot of people have no idea. That's kind of alarming. But
well, it's getting so much better, believe me. I mean, people like you are getting involved because people like me and Dave and lots of other people have been getting more out there and more vocal now. And that's another big thing people can do is just be more vocal about this when you first get involved. Try to introduce as many people as you can to this to get it to spread. It's a grassroots movement, and we have to be doing this. We can't be afraid.
No, they want us to be afraid, buddy. If we're afraid, they've won.
That's exactly it. And unfortunately for them, I mean, I've never been afraid of these cocksuckers ever in my life. They don't scare me one bit.
Well, to be honest, at one point I was, Dave, or Dean, at one point I did fear him, but now my whole thinking has changed, buddy. I look at the way governments spend money and what they do with our money, it makes me want to puke. Who the hell wants to support a government that's killing fucking people overseas and calling it all good?
And again, you know what? Some people are flabbergasted when I say this, but and I've said it frequently. I said, "What's the worst they're going to do? Kill you?" Number one, you're going to die anyways. In the meantime, you got to live in this shithole world that's getting worse every day. It's getting fucked up and polluted more and more every day, and you got to live like a boot-licking fucking coward just to get by and live, so you're not in fear of them coming to kill you. Are you kidding me? So not only do I have to live in a shithole, it's getting polluted and made worse every day by these bastards, but now I got to be a boot-licking coward? I'd rather be fucking dead than have to live like that.
Yeah, they sure fucking got us by the balls, or so they think, man. But
Yep.
I think we're in for a fucking big change here, Dean. I really do, bud. I mean, what I'm really getting involved in my life, my friend, is a marijuana movement, medical marijuana. I'm seeing it heal people right in front of my eyes. And I got involved in that about 4 or 5 months ago, and I'll tell you, what a powerful thing to get involved in your life that really does make a difference.
Why do you think it's one of the most controlled substances on this planet? That stuff can cure just about anything.
That stuff has the possibility to take this whole planet, Dean, and cure it from the inside out.
Well, even just growing hemp for biomass and for fuels and cleaning the air and everything.
The superconductors are coming up with hemp. Just the list just goes on and on and on. Yet we continue to demonize this God-given great plant that is healing people and has all the answers. Stop fucking wood cutting, man. Stop oil. We could stop everything with hemp.
Yep. Now I'm in the construction industry, and a lot of people don't know this. Some of the strongest wood produced today is like these laminate beams that they're making now, which are made from resins and basically wood chips. They're stronger than anything else on the market. They're almost stronger than steel beams for the most part. And you can make all that from hemp. You can make the resin to make these construction products from the hemp oil, and then you use the stalks from the hemp plant, which has some of the strongest natural fibers that exist, and you could make a product that's 10 times better than anything on the market right now just from growing hemp without the need to ever cut down another fucking tree.
Well, yeah, Dean, come on. Look, on an acre of land produces, what were the stats? It produces 40, an acre of land produces the equivalent, I read the stats the other day, an acre of land in trees produces the same as an acre in hemp, but the hemp is reproduced every year, whereas your lumber takes 40 years to reach to the point where it's harvestable. Yeah, so what makes more sense? You know, what makes more sense? And you get more out of the acre, actually you get more out of the acre of hemp than you do out of the acre of fucking trees. So what are we doing? Cutting down the lungs of the planet when we can grow hemp? Man,
we're cutting down 400-year-old trees plus. Older than that here in Canada. All these Douglas fir and everything like that. The logging companies, they want to get in there to cut down the last of the Douglas fir forests that they've already annihilated that whole tree species. Why? Because they don't want to grow one season of hemp. They would actually create more biomass in cutting down those giant trees.
Well, it's not only that, Dean. It's the money it would create for the farmers. You look at these acres of land that are sitting there and they're doing hay, but they're losing their fucking shorts, buddy. Well, if you change that to commercial hemp production and started using it into cotton, started using it for everything that we need and we could do, and the money, it would go ballistic, my friend. Yep. And I've been studying it quite a bit. And holy shit, I'm just starting to understand it.
Among other things, hemp is actually drought and flood resistant. It'll survive droughts and it'll survive floods. It'll grow right in the water. Its roots penetrate up. Yeah, the roots penetrate up to 9 to 12 feet deep. The roots will penetrate, which means it's aerating the soil or the earth down to 12 feet. And if you let a crop of hemp go to just basically mulch it and let it just lay down flat, or you were to just let it decompose in the field, it'll create a quarter inch of topsoil a year.
Yeah,
a quarter inch.
The nutritional value of just letting it go flat at the end of the year. The next year, the crop that you're going to get off that field is going to be three times Yeah, 3 times as good. So what are we going to do? In 10 years from now, we'll have phenomenal fucking 30-foot fucking hemp plants growing every year, and all
Yep.
fucking problems on the earth are done, buddy. They're finished. It's all right
You know
there
what?
in front of us. So we really got to spread
That
the word on
sounds
that
like
one, brother.
that sounds like something that should be illegal, because think of the after effects here. A couple of people sometimes get high and eat a bucket of chicken.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I got a high
That kind of shit can destroy the planet. We got to stop that.
I know, buddy. I know. I hate it when I eat. You know, I go home, I have a pizza, I hug my kids, I'm in a really good mood, get on the computer, talk to some really cool people. I mean, fuck, I'd rather go drinking, go down the bar and get in a fight with the biggest fucking guy I can find, because that's what I used to do when I drank, man. 32 years now, brother. 32 years, no alcohol. Fuck,
So,
what a bad shit that is.
I'm Irish. I do like my beer, but lately, again,
Yeah.
I think we even spoke about that on my interview with Steven there the other day on the radio show that we're starting now. I was having a real bad day the other week, and Steven just said to me, dude, go grab yourself a 6-pack of beer. It's a hot day. Enjoy the afternoon. Don't worry about it. We'll get this shit fixed, because we're having problems with our mic and our setup for the radio show. And I left to go to the grocery store to buy some food, and I came back, and he said, there, you have yourself a beer and calm down. I said, no, dude. I said, I was there in town, and I was thinking about it, and I said, nope, divestment. I refuse to buy beer because I'm funding those fuckers. I would rather go without.
Exactly. I mean, you buy beer, they get you driving in your vehicle. If you're over 0.0 whatever fucking percent now, they get to put you in jail, cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Put your breath meter in the car. Do that for what?
If I can do that, everybody out there can do that, because I love a good beer. So if you can't live without a beer, knowing that it's funding rapists and fucking criminal cocksuckers, then you are the problem. You are the problem.
With you, brother. I agree.
So brew it yourself or don't drink it.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Everybody took the time, brewed their own beer, and the beer stores all of a sudden shut down.
And by the way, the videos online for making your own beer is unbelievable. The first time I know somebody that brewed their own beer, first time out from a video on the internet last year, and made beer better than anything I have ever tasted in my life.
And it's not going to have the steroids, preservatives, and crap they put in the fucking breweries, buddy.
None of that stuff.
Putting chemicals in the beers of the breweries, and people just continue to drink the shit. You know, so what the fuck? Stupidity.
Yeah, should we be going and protesting so that Labatt's or some other beer company take the preservatives out of their beer?
No, there's no money in that, buddy. There's no money in that. They got to put the chemicals in, because the chemicals get you go to the doctor because then you're sick.
Your own fucking beer. Quit protesting this shit, trying to force corporations to produce the products you want, and fucking make them yourself.
I hear you, bro.
Anyways,
I hear you.
These people need to get this.
I was just going to jump in there. Barry comes on to the Rick Simpson show a fair bit there, Dean. You know Rick, don't you?
Yep, there's a warrior right there. Another guy that in the early years had stood right up to the Canadian government when everybody else thought he was nuts.
He's coming to BC, buddy. He's going to be staying in my house.
So
Is that cool or what?
Hey, I'm coming out in a week and a half.
To BC?
Yeah, I'm in Victoria.
I told you that, Barry.
You're going to be in Victoria, right, Dean?
I'm in Victoria on the 22nd for a seminar. I'll be there for 4 days because I want to go hiking and see the island. So.
Oh, fuck, why don't you come up here and do some salmon fishing in the Skeena River? You can stay on my farm.
Dude, are you up on the Skeena?
Yeah, I'm in Terrace.
Dude, we're going to have to talk. I own property on the Skeena River.
Where? Whereabouts?
I'm not going to talk about that on...
Okay, no.
We're going to have to talk.
Like where, but okay, we're going to have to talk, Dean, for sure.
We're going to have to talk because I have to go... I'm coming out at the end of August, actually, because I want to take a kayak trip to my property up the Skeena River. I want to go stay there for 2 weeks.
Rick's going to be here. Rick's going to be here the third week in August. I just talked to him about this, Dean, a couple of days ago. He wants to come out for a bit of a holiday. He needs a bit of a break. I've got him talking in Terrace at the Armley Theater on dates, and he's had requests for TV and radio shows out here. And we're going to go do maybe one. I've had a lady contact me in Prince George now that wants to rent a 700-seat facility up there and get him to do one talk up there.
Well, hey, let's do a joint thing. I'll come out there myself.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, brother. You're going to be here when he's here.
I'm completely down with meeting up with Rick Simpson and him and us doing a little joint seminar up in Prince George and Terrace. Let's do it.
Fuck, let's do it, Dean. Hey, I want to get you doing a seminar to the fucking people here. Maybe we could do that.
I'll come there straight after. Isn't this great, Dave? Is this what synchronicity is?
I was just thinking to myself then, I always believe everything happens for a reason. And earlier
This is
on,
fucking cool, guys.
no, it is, because, I mean, I love Barry. Barry is absolutely brilliant. We're just lucky he hadn't got his parrot with him today, but I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and sort of, I didn't think, actually at 11:05 our time tonight, I said to the guys, I said, look, I haven't heard back from Dean, he's really busy, I don't think we're going to be able to do the show tonight, blah, 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 and by pure luck, I looked down at my email and an email had come through, and I phoned Voster back, to say, this is all happening, and look how this is progressing. It's awesome. Just, I wish I could come on the kayak trip. I tell you that.
I had such a good day today too. I'm just having.
Hey, Dean, this is going to be like. You and me and Rick are going to get together. We're going to have a coffee, and we're going to be doing some very, very good man hugs. I'll tell you, brother. I can feel that right now.
No coffee, my friend. Just say no to coffee.
Okay, no coffee. Okay, great.
That's another thing too, by the way, people. I gave up coffee, and for 18 years of my life, I was a bona fide coffeeholic. I could not live without at least a couple coffees a day, for sure one in the morning. I am done. I have been completely coffee free for well over a month now. I downsized. I used to get 5 large Tim Hortons a day. So I was the biggest hypocrite out there when I was working out in Calgary. I'm off the coffee. I will not shop at coffee shops anymore, period. I would murder somebody for a good latte some mornings. I really love lattes, but I will not spend $5 on a coffee because of the sales taxes and because it's ridiculous to spend that much money on something, when I could save it and put it towards a good cause. So I'm not just saying this shit to people. I am practicing what I preach. Coffee is not good for you. I had a friend just send me the research on coffee that actually showed that it caused birth defects, cancers, and you name it in lab rats. And I think a small dose of coffee that is a certain amount of milligrams can actually kill you. It is not good for you, so I'm done. I'm au natural now. My diet is completely natural. I'm done with that shit. Get rid of it.
That's it. You have to agree to be off coffee now, Barry.
Yep.
Okay, guys. I'll be honest, Dean. I still drink a cup of coffee a day, but I'll keep. Everything changes in time, and
try to wean yourself off it, dude. One thing at a time.
Yep. So I do drink chaga every day, though. Now I drink chaga, so there you go. You know what chaga is, Dean? Yeah, it grows on a fungus tree up here. It's a
number one, Dean. I want in on the kayak trip. If I can get over.
Come on out.
And Lee, a good guy from the radio show and friend of mine, has just joined us in the call as well. And you're over in Spain. You actually quit this country, Lee, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry, I'm half asleep. It's like 3 o'clock. Yeah, well, nearly 4 in the morning. But yeah, I quit. I ran away when I was 18. I saw the country was going to shit. The lunatics were taking over the asylum, and I packed my surfboard and my rucksack and fucked off.
Brilliant.
I lived on a beach for 6 months catching waves, then ran out of money. So I had to start working. But I've been outside the system for a good few years.
Yeah, and Dean, Lee is always on the shows. He's always contributing. He's always a mind of information. So yeah, it's good. And it's brilliant that you got introduced to Barry, and then hopefully Rick Simpson can do something. I mean, like you say, Rick Simpson is doing so much for everybody, and people just can't see it. I try and talk to family members about the Rick Simpson hemp oil, and they just, I don't know if you see it on the Facebook when I put pictures. I put pictures of ostriches with their heads in the sand, and I tell people how fucking stupid they are all the time, and
Yep.
people get offended, but I'm just speaking the truth. Like, people just need to wake up and just get a grip of themselves.
Yep. Well, there's just, I guess, raising awareness. Unfortunately, we got a lot of years of brainwashing to deal with. And people have to learn to not be afraid to just call these people exactly what they are, ignorant morons. You're an ignorant moron. You won't even look at the research. You're so brainwashed, you just refuse to even look at any other alternatives. So you are an ignorant moron. People like you are the reason this planet is going to shit. You're a fucking idiot.
You must be
Never
talking
be
about
afraid.
our doctors.
Yeah, nice. There you go.
You're talking about
But
a
it's
doctor.
so true. It's so true. Like, it frustrates the hell out of me. Like I get really, I struggle because I get so angry and worked up sometimes. It just frustrates the hell out of me why people can't open their eyes. Why can't they see it? Why, you give them the research and they automatically, like I've talked to you, for ages and ages, Dean, and I've often said to you, people are trying. They make half-hearted attempts at the court stuff, and they don't want it to work, so that they can come back to you and go, "Hey, that thing that you told me to do, that didn't work," blah, 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 and piss and whinge, and off they go pissing and whinging about how much they don't trust the government, and people don't want to see the good things. People just don't want to see it. They just want to piss and whinge about it. And I keep saying, like I've sort of, with family members now, I've just sort of stopped giving them my time. I've just called them what they are. If they can't even spend 40 minutes of their time over the space of a month to look into Rick Simpson's hemp oil, that is a disgraceful, situation to be in. And it's just lazy. It's pure laziness in some people,
Buddy, I just had a family member die of cancer a little over a week ago. And when I found out that the individual had cancer, and I'm really good friends with the family on that side, to a couple of members in the family, I sent off an email, and I texted them. My phone said, "Hey, I'm going to send you an email. I want you guys to go and spend 2 hours of your life and just watch the videos of what I sent you." Okay, I sent them the information on Dr. Simoncini in Italy. I sent them information on Dr. Brzezinski in the United States. I sent them the run.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I sent them The Run from the Cure by Rick Simpson, and I also sent them that video on that New Zealand farmer that was cured by the vitamin C therapy, as well as a little girl, I think it was that little girl with a brain tumor down in the States or whatever that was on chemo and being killed, and the parents started feeding the kid THC without the doctor's knowledge, and the kid started eating again and got better, and before long was actually out of the hospital, and the doctors tried to credit it with the chemotherapy, but we all know what really worked. And man, they actually didn't return my after I sent that stuff off to them. It was like a week or two before they would start replying to my texts again.
Yeah,
they just wanted to bury their head in the sand and ignore all the stuff I just sent them, because I doubt they would ever be willing to try any of that, and then they'd have to live with the fact that they weren't even willing to explore options.
Exactly, and I mean, at that stage in the game, what have you got to lose?
Yeah, you're already dying. What do you? Oh my God! What if they charge us with possession of marijuana? You're dying.
Like, how stupid is that? How stupid! It's so.
I don't want to get charged with marijuana possession. You're dying.
You're gonna be in a box unless you do.
What would
well,
you rather?
if you smoke,
I
one,
stood up though. Like with this particular family member, she's kind of she thinks she's a cut above everybody, and she lives this very worthy life and blah 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 blah. And I sent my mum. I watched my mum years ago shrivel up and die of cancer, and it was the most horrible, painful thing you could imagine. And I said to her, "Will you at least watch this, the Rick Simpson stuff, spend 5 minutes of each day watching it." And they wanted me to go and be a pallbearer at her nan's funeral when she died there. And because I said, if she doesn't watch it, I just won't even go to the funeral, because why should I give my energy and time if they can't, she died of cancer, the woman that they wanted me to go and carry. And I felt that strongly about it. I just refused to go. I stood up for what I believed in, and it's just crazy. That, like you say, they're scared. People are so scared that they're afraid of being caught by marijuana with marijuana, growing marijuana. They're more scared of that than they are of dying. It's crazy.
That's beyond crazy, is what that is.
Lunacy.
Yeah. Well, and I've addressed this before. I like to use my father as an example, because he's really mad at me for what I do, especially since I was on the news lately, and now all his friends know that I'm a terrorist. So he's a little ashamed of that, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But one of the things I've noticed is this cognitive dissonance that people my father's generation seem to have, that they don't want to accept that what we're saying could even possibly be true, because they would have to realize and wake up and comprehend that they've been living a lie their entire life, and that they've been duped and they've been made to look like fools, and they've been needlessly paying a large percentage of their paycheck to somebody that they weren't obligated to do that. And that's foolish. And they would have to wake up and realize, well, I wasted $500,000 over the years. I paid a bunch of money to something that I didn't have to pay because I either didn't want to educate myself, or I was scared, or I believed I had a duty to do it. Either way, they got to look at themselves in the mirror and man up to that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can't.
It's so difficult, and like I've heard you say, when they reach a sort of certain age, that they're just not open to change, and like a lot of that is embarrassment. I think it's just so it's such a difficult hill to climb for some people. Just as well, Dean, Hazel's just joined the call. She's a regular on the Darkcity radio, a big supporter of what we all do. So at some point, if I can just introduce you to her as well, that'll be good. I don't know if you want to say hello to Dean, Hazel. She's out in
Hi, Dean. Welcome.
BC.
Sorry I'm late.
Hey, it's all good. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Dean.
So yeah.
So I hope I didn't miss too much, and I'll try and listen best I can for the next hour.
We've just been they've been organising canoe trips, and all sorts of things have been going on. So where are you, Hazel? You're BC, aren't you, as well?
I am. So I'm down southern BC.
Okay, so there you go. But yeah, going back to they'd rather die than being caught with marijuana. Crazy, and I don't know. But I guess the 3-tier approach, if you want to get back onto that, and also you've got the website up and running, Dean, and with all of the sort of divestment stuff on there, and your show that you've got running regularly. I don't know if you want to mention that as well.
Well, it's just starting. We've had some extreme technical difficulties getting all our audio video stuff together, and I think that's a problem to do with the fact that I'm not a computer guy, so I'm very foreign to all these technologies, and I'm learning at a fast rate here. But that and that the guys involved with it, we're so scattered around the planet that we can never really coordinate proper times, and it's hard to get these things fixed up when you're just talking over Skype, and so it's been a bit of a trial here, but we're getting new videos together that we're going to have online. We're obviously going to be videotaping the seminar we're doing in Victoria on the 22nd. That'll be available on the forum as well. And we're trying to build a member base here and get some financing going. That's the other thing here too, is that it pisses me off that. We're trying to get some financing going to get some projects off the ground, and one of them is the whole land stewardship program that I haven't really officially announced yet. That we want to, and it's my coup de grace, if you want to call it that, for fighting back and taking back the planet and taking back the land, and that's something I'm going to talk about in an upcoming video that we're going to release as well. And that's all on the forum. DeanClifford.info. We just started on a test radio broadcast the other day just to see that if all the equipment was working, and we recorded it and we put it up on there anyways. But yeah, we really want to get people informed and out there, and that's why I'm trying to say that if people divest and they just simply stop buying cigarettes or beer, I mean, they should be helping that $15 a month or $20 a month or $30 a month they could be spending on stupid shit, useless shit that just funds our enemies. They could be donating to people like Dave, or helping us with the upcoming land stewardship program, because it doesn't matter that we're on the other side of the planet. We're in the process right now. I'm going to be expanding what I've been doing personally over the years. I've been building up some properties, and I've been getting I got a farm, and I got several rental properties and a construction company going. And I've got a little a project in mind here that we're calling a land stewardship program that's going to be the next step after the divestment thing that people can get involved in. And we want to start buying back all these ranches and all these farms and starting up businesses that are all owned cash outright, and only hire people and pay them cash that are involved in our movement, and build our own little society and our own little organization, and start attacking the bankers and the government by simply not doing business with them anymore. We don't need banks. We're just going to be buying all our farms and all our ranches and all our businesses and commercial properties cash. And it's all going to be donation-based. So all the donations are going towards buying all these properties cash. And once they're ours, They basically belong to a co-op. And then we pick members of the co-op families to go live on these farms, and we pay them to produce things that we want to be able to sell to our own members, food and whatever else we could possibly produce, or other talented people that can weld things and manufacture things. And we're just going to create our own alternate economy that's completely debt-free. It's not debt-based. There's no loans. There's nothing. And the families that are living there live there for free while they're being paid to work.
Yeah, it's awesome. It is an awesome idea, and I really think that will definitely take off and work. What I wanted to touch on as well with you, Dean, if you could, while we're on the subject of the buying the properties and stuff, you do a thing I saw there on the when you were on the news where you use equity lenders, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes. I want to get away from that as well altogether, but I do have a business friend that I've known for a number of years now, and back in the day when I first started battling the government and I had no credit and they were really trying to destroy me as early as back then, I found it was actually much easier to use these equity lenders. And all they are is just like basically private bankers. They're just private, not like break your kneecap kind of people. These are like legit kind of people that just will loan money based on the value of a home. Now it's higher interest rates, and it's only really meant to be short term. But the whole point is that basically you do your best to pay that down and get it paid off and get out of that mortgage, which means that you're actually teaching yourself as well to not spend money on other stupid things because you want to get that mortgage paid down and paid off immediately. And it really helped me out because there's no way I could have bought a house back in the day without the banks, without these equity lenders being around. And they exist. They're all over the place. And you know they want as much as 25% down sometimes if you're going to buy a house. But you don't need to go through the banks and these private mortgages, these loans. There's no penalties when you pay them off. You can pay them off early. You can pay more than your interest payment, your principal payment every month, and it pays down the balance. Unlike a bank, so they're actually better to deal with. There's no credit checks. They don't need to see your T4s or your income tax returns because they don't give a shit what you make. Because they're loaning you 75% of the value of the home, and if they have to eventually foreclose on you, they just take the house back and they sell it and they get their money, so they don't care.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I suppose I thought that worked in a slightly different way, but even so, miles better than using a sort of mainstream bank, and again, it takes money away from that, that system. But
miles better.
But the way you're suggesting where like-minded people fund the very farms that would be producing the food, et cetera, is just, it would work like clockwork. We know that this type of thing would work, and it's so easy. Rather than giving your energy and your money and et cetera, to governments who are just going to move it into, private pockets as quickly as they possibly can, put it into something worthwhile.
In Canada, where I live, we've got something called co-op gas stations now, and I mean, they're taking over all over the place. This idea of this co-op gas station, they're everywhere in Canada now, and they are huge. They're shutting everybody else down. Like Shell's closing their doors. Like Essos are going out of business where I live because co-op is taking over everything. And all it is, you become a member. So you buy one share in the co-op, and you get a membership number, and then you just buy your gas from co-op, and they're all over the place. And just by buying my gas at co-op, just because of customer loyalty, my check that I got back this year was just shy of $700.
Wow.
That's the return I got for customer loyalty for the amount of gas that I bought just for shopping. So I don't get checks back from these other gas stations. So that's where I was like, well, why couldn't we do an idea like this but expand it exponentially and have a co-op idea, but have it where people pay for a membership and it'll be a monthly membership, and they're helping us build the very industries that they want, like beef, being able to provide a good source of beef. So if we're buying these farms and these ranches and we own them cash, there's no overhead. And the families that live there for free are being paid basically to watch these to raise these cattle, and then our members can buy the beef at cost, which would be half of what you can buy beef at grocery stores for, just for being a member, because it's their money that funded us being able to do it in the first place, and that gets rid of profit margins as well, which means now there's no multinational corporations profiting off of us. That's the idea we're trying to get across to people, and that's all they need to do is just to start funding projects like this. And then once we own all the land, the other great thing about the land stewardship approach with this is that now that we own these farms and we own the land outright, property taxes aside, which we won't be paying anyways, we set the rules on what can and can't be done on the land, which means no chemicals, no GMO crops, no Roundup. None of that shit will be allowed. Everything has to be done naturally, and it has to be done in accordance with nature, which means that instead of protesting Monsanto, how about we just buy up all the farms and not buy any of their products? They'll go out of business overnight already. Why would you protest when you can do that instead? Hello.
I'll be your hemp farmer.
A great example of that, Dean, is the movie The Host. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Read the book. Yeah, that's a bit of an example where have a look at that.
We'll have to talk, Barry, because I want to be cross Canada on this. In fact, this is an international movement, and I mean the same thing. We could be buying land anywhere where one of our members exists.
You really got my interest, my friend.
And start it up there.
Yeah,
that's just how simple it is.
Wasn't this the way we did things long time ago before we all got into commercialization and corporation
isn't that interesting?
bullshit? Yeah, let's go back. Well, I mean, back when the earth was sound and we weren't polluting it, we weren't putting chemtrails and mercury and fluoride and aspartame and all our shit and all that other stuff. Oh, you mean back then? Sounds like a pretty good idea to me, buddy.
Well, how does this sound, Barry? Right now, I buy my beef off of a local rancher, and I bought 546 pounds of Black Angus, hormone-free, grass-fed, free-range beef last fall. I paid just under $3 a pound. So I got 546 pounds for $1,500.
Yeah, that would be about, let's see, in the store you'd be paying probably triple that, and you're going to get lots of steroids, growth enhancers, pesticides, and everything else.
And so this is off a guy who has a farm who's actually making his own money off of this as well. And I'm like, okay, well, how many people would like to be able to buy meat the same way I do? And if it's something as simple as, well, just for becoming a member and buying a monthly membership fee, that membership fee allows us to go buy our own farms, raise the cattle, and provide you with the products that you want for a fraction of what they would be at the grocery store, which means in the end you're actually going to save money and get quality products.
Exactly. Well, I'm lucky where I am, Dean, because I can fish and catch a lot of our fish in Canada every year. And every year I go out and I shoot a moose, and every time I do, I say a little prayer for him. But I live on a lot of wild meat. I try and stay right away from anything out of the grocery stores, period.
Yep.
And I got my GMO list.
We're going to talk about all this then.
Yeah, we will. I take my GMO list now to the grocery store, and I'm avoiding so many products now. It's restricting me on what I can buy, but I don't buy it, period.
Oh, you mean you don't want to just bitch and complain and force somebody to manufacture a product that's GMO-free because you want it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't need any more Aunt pancakes anymore, that's for sure, buddy.
Oh, my God. High fructose corn syrup? Dude, if you want to die real quick, eat that shit.
Hey, that's a long... listen, I am becoming more and more aware, Dean. I am really becoming aware, okay? Well, I have Miss Hazel. Miss Hazel's talking to me every day about stuff, and she's a wealth of information.
Well,
so
now think about this, Barry. If every single one of our farms and ranches has a couple of beehives on it, each beehive can produce 100 pounds of honey every year. So these families that are living on there are raising beef. They're looking after beehives. So we got beef, we got honey. So instead of Aunt Jemima syrup, now people can buy honey from our farms. That maybe if we start growing hemp on the farms as well, it'll be hemp honey, and they can buy that for cheaper than they can get it anywhere else on this planet, just for being a member.
And at the same time, tax. Well, that sounds like a very, very good idea, my friend. Yep. We're going to do lots of talking, Dean. I'm glad I met you today. I think there was a reason for us to meet today.
There's no question. So there you go, Dave. You've outdone yourself again.
Well, everything happens for a reason. I say it all the time.
Well, the fact that you're coming to British Columbia, Dean, and you're up in this area, you have you're telling me you have property up here, and you're going to be in the area the same time Rick Simpson is here. That's to me, buddy, that's pretty cool.
Well, if you got a boat, dude, I want to go see my property. We can go camp there for a couple of weeks.
I've got a skiff and a 9-horse, if that'll get you there.
It probably will. I've got 160 acres up in the mountains right on the Skeena.
We also have a boat on the ocean. We can take you out there. We'll take you fishing for a day.
I love it. I've actually been considering buying a place in Prince Rupert to spend my winters out there, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm taking Rick out. Maybe we can all go out the same day. Actually, maybe we'll go for a couple days. Got a
Okay,
30
it's done.
footer. Okay, buddy, I got you talked into it already, eh? The
That's done.
humpbacks are around. Hey, the humpbacks are around that time too, so you get to
Oh
see.
man, this just gets better and better. Fly on over, Dave. We'll do a fundraiser for your plane ticket. Come on down.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love that. That is right up my street. Yeah, we're just coming up to closing the show, so I don't know if anybody wants to say anything before we go off. I don't know if Hazel wants to have a quick chat or whatever. Just let it flow how it's going to flow, I guess.
Yeah, I like listening to. I don't have much to say. I totally agree with everything that Dean is saying and Barry's saying. Get off the pharmaceuticals, most toxic of all. Stop taking in Monsanto's garbage. Stop feeding the banks your hard sweat and labor. You guys are absolutely speaking the language that I love. Totally.
It's the one thing you can't be forced to do. You can't be forced to buy somebody's product. It's the one thing they cannot do. They might be able to come to your house and kick your teeth in if you don't pay property taxes or steal your home. They might be able to kick your teeth in if you don't pay income taxes. But in the end, the $5 meager you're left with, by the time they finish stealing everything else you own, you at least ultimately have a choice of what you do with that $5. And if we have to start that small, good, let's start that small because we can only get bigger. There's a few hundred of them at the very top of all this that have a few $1 billion. Well, guess what? There's a few billion of us, and each one of us has at least $100. That means we've got more money, and we've got profoundly more manpower than them. This is the equation I used on one of my most recent interviews. I said, look, think of it this way, people. What's a better group to be part of? 10 people with $1 million or 1 million people with $10? Because that's the same amount of money, but the second group has 999,990 more people. So if it comes down to numbers and a firefight, I think I'd rather be part of the second group.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
We have more money than these people, which means we have more market pull. We have the ability to do more than them. We just have to realize that's all it is. So the third one is obviously the third route there, Dave, is obviously learning your rights and starting to attack income taxes, property taxes, getting rid of their ID, all that kind of shit. That's the third tier. But it starts with divestment. It moves up to becoming part of the land stewardship program, which means you're now actively involved. And for a couple of dollars a month, I have access to real quality natural products that'll help me. That's terrible. And then the step above that is you learn your rights while this is all going on, and you can start to effectively enforce them and become part of an organization that's got thousands of people behind it that can give you support to help you in your journey.
Superb. It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, just we're out of time now for the moment. Can I just have a quick chat with you, Dean, after we finish the show? Just literally 2 minutes. If you're
Absolutely.
after that, I'll just call you after we finish the show. But I just want to say to everybody, thanks for contributing. Barry, Hazel, Vosto over in Romania. He's stayed up. It's 5 a.m. where he is now. He stayed up just to host the call and sort the server out and stuff. So thanks so much to him. Really
Thanks a lot, buddy. And I love the accent, by the way.
So yeah, but
no problem.
Yeah. No problem. He's a good guy. He's always helping. So and the guy that runs the station.
Look at all the people from the. How many of us are online right now on Skype from all over the world? There's 5 people here from all over the world coming together right now. You trying to tell me we can't come together as one people and do something on this planet?
Exactly.
We're doing it now.
And, do you know Paul that actually started the Darkcity? He has not got hardly any money at all, and he spends £75 of his own money every month. And the hours that guy puts in, Paul Hayden, is unbelievable, Dean. He is on the radio trying to make it work day in, day out, contributing day in, day out. We've got Barry, Lee, Vosto, Hazel, Sarah, all of these people, Sudama, they're all trying to do something, trying to make something better, and we can do it. We can really do it. We get down in the dumps sometimes about things and we get frustrated, but ultimately we can do this.
This is what terrifies them. Look at how much Twitter terrifies that asshole in Turkey there, Drogan. Twitter is terrifying that guy because that's just people talking.
Oh, yeah.
That
Not
just
only
proves...
Twitter, but a lot of hacking and a lot of protests all over at the embassies of the world, and Facebook, everything, petitions everywhere. And there are literally thousands and hundreds of thousands of people gathering in the squares of Turkey every night for like 11 days right now. And there are live streams leaking it all everywhere for the world to see.
And I don't want it to have to come to that here in our countries, which is why we can head this off immediately by stopping this madness now and just stopping the money flow going to them.
And smell the fear.
There'll be no need for mass protests where people are getting hit in the head with gas canisters, where they're killing people and driving over people with police cars. We don't need to get there because we have the opportunity to stop it now.
You sure turning on some light bulbs in my brain, my friend.
Excellent. I'm glad I could do that.
Yeah, you are. Good to hear you talk.
Yep, I added you on Skype. We're going to talk. Don't you worry. And that's already a date. We're going fishing in August.
I want to be in on the fishing trip. I really do. I'm quite serious about that.
Okay, perfect.
Well,
let's get your ass over here and go fishing.
Okay,
Dave,
cool.
we'll put you up over here, buddy. If you come over, we'll find you a place to stay. No problem. We'll take you guys out, and it's mushroom season too, guys. So we can always go out and pick some chanterelles or some boletas or some pines.
Lovely.
And get lost in the woods.
Everybody out there, help us out as much as you can. Like I say, we're trying to fund this movement. We're trying to get properties purchased. Everything's all being held in trust and is being administrated by people. No one's actually being paid for their efforts. I want this money to all go into buying lands and farms to put families in, so families can live in these farms, and it benefits a family that from our movement as well. But short term, you're probably going to be more help to us than we will be to you. But that's only until we grow and we can start providing more services to people, because we are starting grassroots and right from nothing. So get on over to the website, join up, let's get some shit going on here.
Okay, that's brilliant. Well, that's all for now from Darkcity. Get on the deanclifford.info. If you want to be part of a change, just get on there, do something about it.
Help me to help you.
Exactly. And help yourselves as well. For Christ's sake, help yourselves.
Epic movie line. I love it.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake, help yourselves.
So on that note, we'll bid you a good night, and I'll speak to you off in a second. And thank you thanks once again to everybody for contributing.
Greetings, citizens of the world, we are Anonymous. It has been a long time coming. Operation Petrol will be engaged on the 20th June 2013. This operation will include the US, Canada, England, Israel, Saudi Arabia, only government, China, Italy, France, Germany, Kuwait, only government, and Qatar, only government. As petrol is sold with the dollar currency of the US, we find this not acceptable when the oil should be sold at the country of origin, making petrol a lot less than what you the citizens is paying for it. Saudi Arabia, you have betrayed your fellow believers with your cooperation with these greedy foreigners, causing much pressure on families from around the world. You allow this to happen. Back in time, the Middle East had no such currency as the dollar. It was always in gold or silver. So we do not agree with this paper currency idea, and it is to the advantage of the greedy all over the world. The governments with their taxes make it impossible to predict the price of gasoline. Also these greedy, already multi-billionaires, continue to build on their obscene fortune. You may not already know, but in the future, electronic transfer of money will be the government's ideal preferred way of all transactions by 2020. What you do not know, is when this occurs, just like in Syria, your government will be able to have access to your funds and retirement money at any time they wish to steal it. The US is known for creating war for the purpose of stealing gold, stealing oil and stealing opium, which they are doing in Afghanistan still to this day. But you are not aware of this, because your media are not allowed to tell you because of the censorship ban in place about this. If the governments succeed with a no paper money system, they will have no need to steal gold, oil or opium. They will have no need for war because they will have trillions of dollars at their fingertips, and there will be nothing you can do about it. The complete reason for this operation can be viewed in the link in the description. The purpose, and by whom will be spearheading this operation, is also in the description as posted on the internet. Take time to read this. The corrupt fear us, the honest support us, the heroic join us. Never forget. We are anonymous. We are not terrorists. We are not vandals. We are only the new revolution. We are legion, united as one, divided by zero. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Greedy oil companies, expect us.